Genoa City is bracing for a seismic shift over the next 2 weeks as the young and the restless unleashes a trifecta of psychological warfare, shattered illusions, and long-buried vengeance. The themes hitting the screen are not for the faint of heart. Not Accepted, Dark Diane, and Matt's Trap. Forget the polite parlor games of Newman Media boardrooms. This is raw, primal storytelling where past sins refuse to stay buried. Not Accepted. The poison of conditional love. The first thread, Not Accepted, cuts to the core of the Abbott and Newman dynasties. While fans have watched Kyle struggle to balance his loyalty to Jack with his love for Summer, the next 2 weeks reveal a deeper wound, the feeling of never being truly welcome in one's own family. Sources close to the set hint that Allie Nguyen will be at the center of this emotional firestorm. After a tense family dinner at the Abbott mansion, Allie overhears a private conversation between Tracy and Ashley that she was never meant to hear. The topic, whether Allie's common upbringing and her connection to the Locke family line make her a liability to the Abbott legacy. The words, "not accepted," are spoken explicitly, and Allie's world crumbles. But the twist, it's not Allie who lashes out, it's Kyle. For the first time since his return to Genoa City, Kyle turns on his own aunts, defending Allie with a ferocity that shocks everyone. "You talk about legacy," he seethes, "but all I hear is fear of anyone who isn't carved from the same marble." This rejection, of Allie, of his choices, of his marriage to Summer, forces Kyle to make a drastic decision. He packs a bag and moves out of the Abbott mansion, taking Harrison with him. The move is not just a separation from his family, it's a declaration that conditional love is no love at all. Meanwhile, across town, Nate faces his own, not accepted, moment when Elena finally confronts him about his cold, clinical behavior since joining Newman. "You've become the man you used to hate," she tells him, handing back the keys to the apartment they once shared. The rejection stings Nate more than he expected, driving him further into Victoria's orbit, but for all the wrong reasons. Just when Genoa City thought Diane Jenkins had turned over a new leaf, apologizing, baking pies, playing doting grandmother, the second spoiler promises a return to form. Dark Diane is back, and she is more terrifying than ever. But here's the creative genius. It's not a cartoonish villainy. The writing team has crafted a slow-burn descent that feels terrifyingly human. Over the next 2 weeks, Diane begins subtly manipulating every person who ever doubted her, not for revenge, but for control. She starts with Phyllis, not by attacking her, but by becoming her confidant. In a scene that will leave viewers nauseated, Diane sits Phyllis down after a near-car accident, caused, unbeknownst to Phyllis, by a loose brake line that Diane arranged, and whispers, "You see, I'm the only one who showed up. Summer, Daniel, Jack, they all abandoned you. But I'm here, because I understand you." The psychological grooming is masterful. Diane doesn't want to destroy Phyllis, she wants to own her. By week's end, Phyllis is voluntarily sharing company secrets about Marchetti with Diane, believing they are now partners in survival. But the true, dark Diane moment comes when Jack catches her alone in the Abbott study, staring at a portrait of John Abbott. She's not crying, she's not nostalgic, she's smirking. "I didn't fake my death to escape," she tells Jack, her voice ice. "I faked it to see who would bleed. And now I know exactly which wounds to press." When Jack threatens to call the police, Diane simply holds up her phone, playing a recording of Jack admitting to a past financial indiscretion. "A real but long-settled matter, go ahead," she says. "I'll take you down with me." The most explosive storyline, however, belongs to a name fans have not heard in months. Matt. Not Matt as in Matt Miller, the former cop, but a new character, Matt Clark, a shadowy figure from Chance Chancellor's undercover past. For 3 weeks, viewers have seen Chance receiving cryptic texts signed, M. The next 2 weeks reveal Matt's trap. Matt is an ex-criminal informant whom Chance was forced to burn during a federal operation gone wrong. Now, Matt is out of witness protection and has one goal: make Chance suffer the way he suffered, by isolating him from everyone he loves. Matt's trap is elegant in its cruelty. He doesn't threaten Chance directly. Instead, he begins feeding Sharon false information that Nick is secretly seeing someone else. The evidence is photoshopped so well that even Mariah believes it. Simultaneously, Matt anonymously tips off Devon that Chance was responsible for a leaked story about Abby's past, a complete lie, but one that exploits Devon's protective instincts. By day 10, Chance finds himself utterly alone. Abby refuses to take his calls, Devon has banned him from the jazz club, and even Ray's old friends at the police department have been told Chance is compromised. The trap snaps shut when Matt finally reveals himself, not with a gun, but with a contract. Sign over your share of Chancellor Industries to a shell company I control, Matt says, or I release the real file. The names of every informant you ever burned. You'll be dead within a week, and so will their families. Chance, cornered and desperate, does the one thing Matt didn't expect. He calls Victor Newman. The final shot of the 2-week period is Victor, in his study, lighting a cigar and saying into the phone, "No one traps a chancellor without answering to me. Tell me where to find this Matt." The next 2 weeks of Y&R aren't just about plot twists. They're about the erosion of identity. Not Accepted shows how family can wound more deeply than enemies. Dark Diane reveals that the most dangerous villain is the one who uses your own forgiveness against you. And Matt's Trap is a brutal reminder that the past, no matter how buried, always demands payment. Genoa City is about to learn a hard lesson. Rejection breeds desperation, old monsters wear new smiles, and every trap has a trigger. But sometimes, the prey fights back. Buckle up.